demand for recycling this nuclear waste. Also, even if we wouldn't recycle any nuclear waste, we got still very good shelters for it. No, thank you. I don't thank you. We got very good shelters. For example, USA right now, till year 2010 is finishing the big shelter in the mountains. I don't know the name. I'm sorry. I'm not from USA. And in this mountain, it's able to not only to store all the waste from USA, but it's also able to store the waste from another countries. Also, Russia has the biggest stores. So we see. And even if the stores are not able to be here for the next 10,000 years, like the waste will be here, for example, we can develop better shelters in, I don't know, 500 years. And in 500 years, we can build another shelters and replace this waste. So, no, thank you, I said you. So, this is the point. How much time? So this is the point. Oh, okay. So, this is the point about waste. Second, we get a point about mining. Yeah, they didn't pay attention to mining in the second speech, but in the first speech they had the example. I searched for this example in the original debate. Something. So, and this example is from Jugat. I don't know, some village in India where there is a uranium mine, and there is one village when dozens of people suffer from, I don't know, skin diseases or I don't know what. But the biggest problem is that right now, millions of people, dozens of million people, and children, for example, are dying on malaria. For example, it's one example. And when, for example, the climate change would be spreading in the future, the temperature levels in our planet will be further, and therefore the malaria will spread. When malaria will spread, the more million people will die. So now I'm asking you, compare please, a couple of people who suffer skin diseases on their side, or our side, and millions of people who are dying of malaria on their side. Okay, the recycling guy was saying about failures. Ladies and gentlemen, I know it's like failures. Yeah, we had the last failure or last two failures 30 years ago. Oh yeah, the first reactor had two failures. Oh yeah. So this is the biggest, issue that they're bringing you to this debate. But ladies and gentlemen, look now. We got the hundreds of nuclear power plants right now here. Do we see some big failures? No. They argue that we got the human failures. Oh yeah, the first reactor was like that. We got a problem, error. And the human was like, I'm doing nothing. But right now, if you're doing nothing, the reactor or the systems, this new technology would not let the... No, come on. Cool. Yeah, I got the point. For example, in Chernobyl... no thanks. In Chernobyl, after this accident, as the cause of the Chernobyl, more than 100,000 people died. So compare 100,000 people in one accident 30 years ago, and for example, one accident 20 years later, and still a couple of millions of people dying every year right now. So compare. Okay, I have to go further. Expensive. So if you want to fight the climate change, do we matter about money? I think no. So because when we are saving lives, we shall put the money. And first of all, they didn't compare how much cost this. I'd like to point that they didn't bring another example how they want to fight the climate change. We got an example. No. We got an example how we want to fight the climate change. We proved you that this energy creates, the nuclear power plant creates a lot of energy. The nuclear power plants are stable, are safe, and they didn't bring another solution. So on their side, the climate change will continue. On our side, we are having some solution to this problem. They had some argument about justice. And come on, the developing countries have no technology to fight to build nuclear power plants. But the biggest problem is the biggest polluters in the world are developed countries. Developed countries like USA, like EU, like Australia, Canada. I don't know who is more developed. And these countries have to change itself. So these countries haven't run now technology, so it doesn't care about developing countries. And for example, they will bring you example with China. Like China is officially on the list of developing countries. But China has, for example, has a space program. they are shooting some, I don't know, spaceships to the space to fight aliens. So they get a lot of money. Yeah, they're doing this. You don't know. The China has a lot of money to fight the climate change, for example, alone. So for all these reasons, please vote for our side. Thank you.
I'd like to thank Martin for his speech, and now call upon Rita to continue the
Hello colleagues, we're the opponents, ladies and gentlemen. Martin did a great job of manipulating you into their side, and I will do the exact opposite right now by rebutting every single argument of theirs and rebuilding every single one of ours. For people who maybe don't know as much as we do about nuclear energy, I will tell you, and its relation with climate change, I will tell you that something that we are part of here, 350, which takes part of the IPCC, the International Panel on Climate Change, made a claim that if we do want to reach 350, we have to build a nuclear power plant every 2 weeks. Think of this. A nuclear power plant, unlike what they said, takes over 4 years to build. It takes 4 years for the actual building, but it takes over 10 years for the process. Now, they gave the example of Japan. When we gave an example of the mining and Jadugada, they said that this is just one example. This does not apply to the whole world. Well, Japan doesn't apply to the whole world either. Japan has more technology than anyone here. Lebanon, for example, does not have the technology that Japan has either. Okay, I will begin by refuting every single one. The first argument regarding the fact that it's a clean process. Again, we'll go back to the point that while nuclear power plants are clean, the process of building them is not clean. And if we're finding a problem here that is oh so urgent of climate change, we cannot afford creating another problem with our solution. We cannot afford emitting more CO2 to stop the CO2. We have no time. We have no time for this. We have no more capacity in our ozone. We have no more capacity in our world. So if we want to find a solution, we should find a solution that does not emit CO2, that is clear to the point, that is simply a solution and not a problematic solution. No, it is not my burden to provide you with a solution. As a negative team, it is only my burden to refute nuclear energy. And we can say that we are just being selfish here and saying that let's just produce nuclear energy and allow ourselves all this emissions. Well, how about we just cut down our emissions? How about we just think of other people too and not find solutions that are just selfish and cater to our problems? How about we just cut down on our emissions? Denied. The other argument was that it's efficient and effective. Well, no, it's not efficient and it's not effective. It's not effective because it will take ages before we can build it, and we need to solve the climate crisis today. And it's not efficient? No, it's not efficient. It takes a lot of water. Denied. Developing countries which are suffering from these problems, developing countries which are suffering from the global climate crisis, do not have water. They do not have fresh water. They have water scarcity. They have dirty water. They have malaria, as he mentioned. They cannot afford nuclear reactors which are functioning on at least 65% water. They don't have that in them. The third point was regarding more or less electricity depending on our need. Honestly, I don't even understand this point, but whatever the world works on demand and supply, so whatever it is that our solution is, we can always work with our dependency. And deny.